Welcome back to another look into the book, Runes, Experience and Gnosis of a Modern Runewalker. I'm Ken Edwards, the author and a runewalker, and shaman of the Northern traditions, more specifically Norse and Anglo-Saxon. So, in this episode of Get to Know the Book, we're going to be diving into each rune chapter to see what that looks like. To begin with, I would like to pull a rune from my bag, and we're going to go to that chapter in the book, and I'll share that chapter with you. So, the runes we're going to start with today. Whoa. Sometimes they do jump out and run away. And I feel like because that one ran away, I feel like actually that's the one. Maybe we'll go with two. Let's take a look and see what both of them are. How about that? If you're used to the Elder Futhark, these two runes will not be runes that you. They'll be maybe newer to you because they come from the Anglo-Saxon Futhark. So we have Ak, which represents an oak tree, and we have Calc, which is kind of like the Holy Grail minus the Christian tint to that. I feel like we should run with Calc. So, in the front of the book, you don't have to kind of figure it out because I have done all of the runes with all of their pages. So, page 177 is where we're going to go to for Calc, and then I'll show you that in the book, we begin with the name, the sigil. If I use it in any other form, I will put it down here at the bottom. So sometimes it is shown as this, and I have seen it as this and use it sometimes as this. So then we have themes and stories, as well as deities associated with this rune. So themes and stories, for Calc are sacred quest, fulfillment, honoring, and the deities or characters within the cosmology are that I connect really with this are the Nornir. Now, in this instance, the next thing you'll see is a poem that I've written about the rune. So in this rune, I have a poem that I wrote in 2022 and one in 2019. The significance of the 2019 poem is that it was at a different phase of my life when I was connecting with the rune differently. So I feel as though that's why I encourage people to write their own poems as well. You'll go back on them, you'll look at them, and you will see how your relationship has evolved or how at that point in your life you were able to connect with that rune on this level. But they're multifaceted. So the poem for 2022 is deeper than your, pardon me, deeper than your greatest desire, it is your greatest fulfillment. May you be so blessed that the two are one. Oh, and don't forget to pour a little dram in gratitude to the roots and the Norns, to the ancestors and others. So, talks about, of course, fulfillment, desire, and then also the connection to our ancestors and the Norns in this. After the poems, you then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the rune, pages of experiences and stories and meanings for the rune that I've experienced to date. Hopefully I still have a good, 40 years left in me, and my book, a book written when I'm 80, hopefully will be much bigger with my experiences with the runes. But a storm was rolling in as I began laying out my thoughts. The wind blew fresh, cool air through my windows, and I felt the tiniest raindrops on my skin. I thought of the shape of the rune, its signature. I generally experience it with the three prongs pointed up, but the image that rolled through my head was one of lightning. Two funny things. One, the first time I encountered Calc, it was with the three prongs pointed down and felt very much like two legs and a cock. Two, last Saturday morning, I asked Thor and his mother Jord to ease up on his stormy advances so that our Saturday market would be dry, and thankfully it was. Calc has, of course, many facets like a well-cut diamond or intricately woven tapestry. My first profound experience with Calc was in Ireland. We were staying in a house on a hill overlooking Rathmullen, a small town in the north, and Loch Swilly, which led to the open sea. I pulled Calc from my rune bag and knew immediately that I was to go out back and fashion an altar to the Nornir. Yes, I know. I just said I experienced it as a male with two legs and a cock. This is the beauty of the runes and fostering relationships with these beings. That time I experienced prongs pointing down. In Ireland, the prongs were up this time, and there was no mistaking that the Nornir, Erd, Verdandi, and Skuld, had somehow part of this rune pulling. This encounter has led to many interactions with the Nornir over the past years. I have learned different lessons every time. So, I now have that connection to Calc and that reference to draw from. The Nornir seem to be aloof. They may be the word. That may be the word, pardon me. They are in charge of weaving the great tapestry of life, so they're very busy. They have doled out information to me, and I'm grateful because it always seems to have been at a time when I needed a breakthrough, something that really shifted my life. Along those lines, I have had Calc appear in readings to show that a god has marked the client. The few times this happened, the client confirmed that was true. The connections between a god and a client, the connection between a god and the client was one that, in each situation, was consensual. Let's shift gears and look at another aspect or thread in this rich weave. Calc was, wow. Calc can signify someone's holy grail, so to speak. I'm using words I don't love, but they convey the appropriate message. A holy grail is someone's greatest desire and fulfillment. In readings, there is usually a rune that falls near Calc that helps clarify their desires, which is helpful. I recently had a combination of runes that told the story of a person who needed to find out what fulfillment was for them. I love this because it gets to the heart of my goal. Sovereignty for all. Self-government, self-containment. By the way, I don't love the word sovereignty either, but it's the one I had at the moment. I went through a period of deconstruction when I had to embody the idea that life is what I make of it, my choice. It is not in the hands of someone else or some deity, for most of us. That was a fucking rough period because, in the beginning, all I could grasp was the gravity of the phrase, besides propagating the species, life has no meaning except that which I give it. That's heavy. That can cause feelings of being lost. What you have to do then is take care of your... Whoa, pardon me. What you have to do then is take yourself by the balls or cunt, whatever you have, or... Wow. Sometimes when I wrote the book, I'm very blunt, but like reading it aloud to you is a little weird. I'm going to go back. What you have to do then is take yourself by the balls or cunt, whatever you have, and make the life you want. Try new things. Figure out what you like and don't like. Figure out what you want. You are responsible for your own fulfillment. I have had Calc show me that the client's cup is half full, or empty. This means exactly what it says. For example, one of my clients gave too much and never took the time to fill her cup back up. Simple concept, but one that most of us struggle with. Let's finish by chatting about the balance of sacrificing, honoring, and respecting. It probably needs more than one word to describe it. Calc asks us to look at how we honor those pardon me. Calc asks us to look at how we honor those we are in a relationship with, specifically regarding our survival and existence. Do you take a drink from the cup of mead and pass it to the next person without forgetting to pour some out to honor your ancestors or gods? Or do you drink the whole thing and pass an empty cup on? What are your feelings about gratitude? Are you grateful? Should you be grateful? What should you be thankful for? These questions are essential for us to answer. Calc is a beautiful rune. So, that is the rune. That is one of the runes, one of the 33. Thank you for bearing with me today while I stumble a bit. But that's one of the runes. That's it. So every chapter looks pretty much like that until the end, like we've already spoken about, where we talk about some basics of personal development. Now, the book is now, because of some things happening, available as of today, September 20th, 2023. Available on Amazon, available for purchase at runewalker.com. It is available for purchase at the local stores in Utah that I've named before. The Conjuring Tree, the Raven's Den, Wee Witches 3, and the Mystic Frog. The stores in, Peaceful Warrior Apothecary in Georgia, Martinez, Georgia, Green Earth Stones Metaphysical Center in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Pagan Moon in Grand Junction, Colorado. I shipped all those out today, and they will have them in the next few days. So you can go there to purchase your book as well. I'm happy for you to go there and support your local stores. Now, no matter what happened with this week's debacle of release date, I appreciate you listening, and I'm super grateful for you sticking around for me to read that whole thing. And go get yours. Don't forget to check my website for events coming up, the launch party and book signings, if you're interested or in the area that I'm in. And if you still have bandwidth to listen to me more, later on today I will be posting my episode 803 of Rune Walking in Modern Times, my podcast, available on Spotify or other places, as well as YouTube. So thanks again for listening, watching, and go get your book. Thanks for being part of this journey. P.S. I will do one more video about the book next week, and it will also be pulling some runes to do some divination and digging into what it is. Maybe, well, we'll see what happens when we get there. All right? Have a good day, have a good week, and don't forget to tune into Rune Walking in Modern Times, the podcast, later on today.